There we go, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Hello.
Wait. Let's start with introductions this time.
Okay. There we go, everybody.
Hey,
Passes up
everybody.
last time.
Hello.
Let's start.
Oh shit, I had it going twice. Alright, there we go, I fixed that. No more echo.
I love our streams always. They're so unorganized. All right, so introductions. I'm Anduin Kayvon, leader of the Grey Sentinels.
I'm Dude.
Okay.
I'm a person that interrupts Chrome, and I'm an officer of the Grey Sentinels.
I'm Crumb, or Tailteller as you see me, and I'm a member of the Grey Sentinels, Honor Guard. Yay.
And then we have Cam here. He's a member of the cohort. Are you an officer, Cam? I believe you are.
Yeah.
Because
We'll
if not, Tug's missing out on something. So
yeah, we'll go with that. Cam of the cohort.
all right. So and then we got Deathsproxy, one of our lovely little moderators. He's probably the hardest hitting one of them all. No.
What do you mean by that? That's offensive, bro.
You know it. And then we have lovely Mjolnir down here who can't pronounce his name right. But yeah, he's from
What's going on, guys?
All right. So we're coming here to talk about PAX and like what we've been seeing the past 4 days. I know Tailteller here really wants to talk about the abilities and stuff that we've seen. And since Cam was there to play it, I really think we could leave the floor to Cam to really discuss a few of the classes he played and basically the abilities that he liked and disliked.
Yeah, so most of the build was, as we all know, it's Ashes. Right now, it seems that you just kind of spam the Q key if anyone saw any of the streams. But the class abilities were in, and it was cool to see how those can progress you through dungeons, like the Mage Reveal and the Ranger Reveal tracks and stuff like that. But my issue is if these dungeons become kind of static, if once you know which direction you're going to go with the Ranger Reveal, does that mean you don't need a Ranger for it anymore?
Yeah, like I know that a lot of the stuff seems like it's just kind of scripted with how it pops up, but like with the Ranger Reveal with like the tracking and stuff, I was thinking, that could be useful in PvP if, let's say, you're hunting someone that just got away from the battlefield, you could hunt them down and be really useful in that way.
From a PvE... Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying, it was a really fun build, and once again, meeting the Intrepid guys, if you guys ever get the chance, I recommend it. They're a good crew.
Oh, what wonderful down-to-earth people. I mean, I'm pretty sure you experience just as how awesome they can be too. So I mean, they're just really great people.
So about the tracking done by the Ranger class, a way they could make it so that it doesn't become so static is because of how the world shifts, right? We have the shifting seasons. We have how the world shifts based on the level of the node. So as the world shifts, the ability does need to be reused so that you can discover new tracks. But besides that, I do see the staticness that you are mentioning, because let's say there is a node sitting at a certain level and it's been there for a long time, as well as the season hasn't shifted, nothing's done to change the world. You're right, you don't need a Ranger to bring with them that tracking ability. Hopefully, though, you'll be bringing the Ranger for other reasons other than just its ability to track things. Maybe it serves as a good class to take down the boss that you are going after.
I mean, I think a lot with these, like the tracking abilities and such, they all seem to be, you use it, you press one button and it's used, and then that's it. You don't really do anything with it at all after that, right? You just, click, rocks appear, or click, tracks appear.
Correct.
It would be better if this was more like a mini game sort of skill. So say it was like a passive thing, and if you were a ranger, you would notice without having to activate the thing, you would just notice footsteps. Because a real ranger, if he was walking around saying the words, he would notice like broken leaves and tracks, and that's how he would track naturally, right? Rather than having to actually activate the skill. So you should be able to just notice things perceptively through the environments that other classes wouldn't be able to. And I think that'd be more realistic, or more, not so much realistic, but more intuitive way of tracking.
Are you saying kind of like have a shine to this stuff that would make
Not
it?
even have a shrine. Like just notice things that other players wouldn't see. Like, hey, if you're a ranger and you say, hey, can you guys see that pool of water over there? And they wouldn't be able to see it, but you would be able to see it, you know?
Gotcha,
Ah,
gotcha.
okay. Like broken limbs through the
Yeah,
foliage
broken
and shit
limbs,
like that.
poop.
Patted down grass.
Someone peed on a tree over there, you know?
Yeah, there's Cam again. Goddamn.
Someone eats all the mushrooms, no one else notices. You notice the mushrooms are beneath them, but no one else notices.
So at least on the run I did, they seem to bring up the idea that each time you go through the dungeon, there might be a bit of randomness to what spawns, essentially. You might get, like, if you're doing extra damage to the boss, you might bring out ads. Like, if you're doing quick damage, you're bringing the boss down quick, it's going to summon ads. Whereas if you're doing slow, you might not see those ads. That's at least what I got from the PvE playthrough I did.
Essentially, like basically the same Left 4 Dead used with this director system. You know, the better you were performing, the more tanks and crap it threw at you, essentially.
Yeah.
Got I am kind of curious. Were you able to play any melee classes? How did those perform? Because I know when I was at PAX West playing it, it was kind of very clunky to play melee, and it wasn't really all that fun.
So I did get a chance to play the tank. The tank, they added a charge ability, and that made closing gaps a lot better. And just in general, I don't know if they increased like the like melee range or anything like that between the last packs. Once again, I didn't play PAX West, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, dude, I had
But
that.
it felt pretty decent. Like I didn't feel like I was, missing out on damage. It seemed like you just had to close the gap, and that was that. Once again, the gap close ability definitely helped a lot with that.
Now, did it feel that when you were playing the different classes, did it feel that the tank was tanky and the ranger and the mage were squishier stuff, or did it just kind of like they didn't really have any balancing going on? Everyone was kind of the same character, just reskinned type of thing.
Oh, you definitely felt the differences between the classes. Maybe not so much between the two DPS, though. I didn't get a chance to play the mage build, but like for the most part, once you figured out what a couple of your skills did, most people caught on pretty quick of what to do, or at least people that had an idea of what an MMO is, because there were some fun groups to watch where I'm like, oh, no wonder the line's taking so long. They've been in that dungeon for 45 minutes when it's meant to take 12.
Yeah, and they don't know how to move, and yeah.
Did you go too, Mjolnir?
No, but I did watch some of the people that were.
Oh, it was painful to watch some of the people I mean, as far as the mage opening stuff, these utility skills, I'm really curious to see how they're going to implement those in with every single class, because it's not going to just be rangers and mages that can do all this stuff. I'm wondering how, like, what tanks will have for utility, what bards, summoners, stuff like that. I'm wondering if there's going to be a lot
tanks
more.
Was a perception thing, wasn't it? See stealth and hidden things.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
it was like you can see in what levels of enemy aggro have. So like if you've played WoW, you have like your green enemies, your yellow enemies, and your red enemies, and the red enemies are the ones that are obviously going to attack you on sight. I thought that's what the tank's perception ability did.
I didn't actually. There was no actual like scripted part. Like every other role had like I need my ranger to now use this ability so that we can see the footprints or which direction they went. The tank didn't have any ability, like where the mage revealed the entrance to a new area or whatever. The tank didn't really do anything in this current PAX build, I guess. It didn't seem like, at least.
Just a hunk of metal.
Dumb bucket of rocks, man. That's all they are.
Now, at least in the run I went in, they alluded to like the mage ability.
don't necessarily need the mage to continue the dungeon. It's just you might need to run further or longer to get where a
It's
mage
like a
that
bonus
you-
room unlock, right?
Exactly. And he also alluded to maybe like the mage reveals maybe some extra chests or something based on having a mage in the group or etc. But you know, we'll see how that works out. It made it sound like mage and cleric are pretty much must brings on the abilities because like the whole running into a poison cloud, probably not the greatest thing to not have a cleric.
Imagine
Yeah,
if you could have a summoner ability, for example, that would like as their kind of thing to be able to create more enemies. You know, holy shit, we haven't got enough enemies to grind. Just open the portal, fucking start pouring in corrupted beings left and right.
Well, like one thing I know that I've been thinking about for mages, I wonder if they're gonna all do maybe miniature teleportation like in WoW, where you had early WoW vanilla where mages can teleport to major cities. I wonder if they're gonna make it so if you're within the node, they'll make it so you can teleport back to the node node town center. I think that'd be kind of interesting if
I
it's
think
like
that would be against their policy of no fast travel, right?
Yeah.
I thought they confirmed they would have some sort of fast travel.
What they should do is make a secret dungeon that you could find inside of exploring, right? That you would go in and it would be a bunch of sandal mobs, and after you kill the sandal mob king, you got a little cosmetic look for your shoes that were sandals. I think that'd be a good idea.
I think that's stolen from Diablo, bro.
Shit.
um
Fuck them.
Yeah, no, it's like it seems like these utilities will be really unique, and I hope that they actually kind of immerse yourself in the game and they're not too gimmicky, where they'll get old real quick. I hope they're actually like a necessary part of the game that improves it and isn't just like, oh, you can open up this door from time to time, or you can look at these tracks to find this beast or something that hunters have been talking about or
From
something.
what I can see is basically you enter the dungeon and you'll have like an optional pathway, and if you don't have a mage, you just can't go down it, and that's pretty much where I see it being a lot of the time. I mean, they could make it so it's a bit more interesting rather than like, if a mage approaches a waterfall, for example, he could freeze it, opening a new passage, or he could actually, do something else with it to provide another effect. So you have like options of what you can do with this additional passive, so to speak, rather than just, press button, new route.
Yeah. I mean, the wonder is most hardcore raid guilds are going to need probably one of every class. It kind of seems like is you're going to need every single thing in there to be top tier and make everything operate in the best way possible.
See, I can
That's
see
assuming
that.
you need to go down those routes.
Yeah. So that's weird with the utility abilities though, because what's the difference between the ranger's tracking ability and a wiki page telling you the exact same thing? Like,
Yeah.
unless it actually changes something in the game when the ability is activated, it's completely useless to bring a ranger for just that specific ability.
Yeah, after the first month or two, someone's going to create a wiki page on where the best way to find these type of creatures is, or this boss. They'll create wiki pages. Like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, how are they going to make it so it actually matters more than just being a gimmicky, like, one-time thing type of thing?
I was saying, like for the ranger, if it was a passive ability that just actively worked, and then you saw just randomly generated elements that sort of appeared just for the ranger, to help them find certain resources or whatever.
That would be cool.
That'd be a much more intuitive system, I think, rather than just a scripted click button and find route kind of thing.
Like,
Well, I was
go ahead.
Well, I was just kind of thinking for a PvP standpoint, why a ranger would be necessary. Let's say you're hunting after a caravan and you haven't come up on it. You don't know how many people are defending. Well, you have your ranger sit there and he licks the fucking ground and finds out how many people are walking with the caravan or something.
Well,
I
actually,
think that could be useful.
that would be, as was mentioned in the chat, that's what the tanks special is it allows your group to see the enemies kind of through walls. That's what
I feel like
mentioned.
that should be a ranger ability, though. That doesn't really seem like a tank sort of thing. I mean, if they're going along the lines of like the ranger having the tracking and all that, I feel like that should be a part of his kit.
Well, it's okay. It's hard to say what a tank special should be, though.
Thing is, like, you see the ranger will be doing that, but wouldn't it just be better to have your ranger on a horse or a mount that can move obviously faster than the caravans? Caravans move quite slowly, and just
Be
tell
like
you
a scout.
Yeah, just tell you on voice comms. Oh, there's enemies here. Okay, cheers, thanks. You know.
Oh yeah. But I don't know. It's just like little things like that would like be helpful and probably a little more immersive if if let's say if you're on a mount, you actually give away your position more and you can't stealth as easily. Like maybe perhaps like that. Especially if it's a small group trying to chase after a larger group or whatnot.
Realistically, like if you're on the mount following a caravan, you'd be off to the side anyway, and they won't be able to catch you because if they turned around, they'd have to move away from that caravan, which they're not going to do. So,
but then you also have to imagine, like, let's say you just lower your graphics so you can see through the trees because the fauna is turned all the way down. What's the point of having someone scout ahead?
it's the same as any MMO. Sometimes you sort of have someone scout ahead rather. I don't think how the tracking ability be better than a conventional method like that. For example,
It'd be interesting to see maybe there's like a randomized nature to it. Maybe there are like you don't know which version of the dungeon you're gonna get going into it. Maybe you need the ranger just to cut down on time.
Okay.
Like
That would
you have
cut
like a
down on the
50 chance on going in a certain direction
yeah.
type of thing, unless you have him. You know what I'm talking about? Then you know that it's that direction that this route has taken us, whatever.
That definitely cut down on the monotony of like doing the same dungeon over and over, running gear out. Or if people find it like an effective way to level, like changing how the dungeon is laid out.
You get
just a
like
little
dungeon
bit.
A as opposed to dungeon B or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
do you think they'll actually go to the effort of making randomly generated parts of dungeons?
Perhaps not randomly generated entire areas of dungeons, but maybe mob spawns could be randomly generated, and so like a ranger is better against these types of mobs. But you don't know what mobs are going to spawn, so you bring a ranger anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's really kind of like a big problem with a lot of MMOs currently is like they could be absolutely fun when you first play them, but after that first 3 to 4 months you've played everything in the new expansion, or even in the base game, and it just gets stagnant, it gets boring. It's if they had some sort of system to randomly generate stuff, because I mean, I know their whole idea is to have nodes. Once nodes are destroyed or level up, that new stuff pops up, but there's going to be eventually come to a time in the game where there's going to be some sort of cold war that happens where nodes are going to sit there, and guilds are going to be maybe one guild will run everything, or one alliance will, and then all the rest will be too afraid to attack or something like that. How are they going to make it so the PvE crowd, everyone is able to keep going, keep being interested?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, especially with like just how the ranger ability works with them. At this instance, at
You
least.
do bring up that is an interesting point, though, because you have, let's say you are in like this, in quote, like you said, Cold War setting, where you are a PvEer and you've done all of the PvE content. You are then kind of forced to try and do PvP so that you can progress towards other dungeons that have been locked off by other nodes. So what do you do then if you're not interested in PvP? Are you just supposed to sit there and wait for the PvPers to make a move, and then you can finally go and do your new content?
I guess, but then again, should really be PvEers and PvEers be mutually exclusive? I mean, a lot of these days people do both. I don't really see that many people that just do purely PvE anymore. It's most people dabble in both these days, right?
Yeah.
I would think so.
Absolutely, and Ashes seems to be a pure like a PvX game. Like
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to keep the crowd that isn't interested in both. I mean, I think that's definitely going to be just a part of all the core gamers in the game, because there's so much that they're working on both sides, and if they make both good, I doubt that the one is going to be like just enjoyable on its own. I mean,
Mhm.
it might be a little bit, but yeah, it'll get stale eventually, like you're saying.
I mean, in my opinion, PvE players are generally quite spoilt for choice when it comes to MMOs.
Oh.
They have the largest selection of MMOs at their disposal, especially with games like Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft being two of the biggest ones probably you could name. That just offer mostly PvE content. When you go for as a PvPer in those games, you have very, very, very limited content in comparison.
And I kind of wonder how are they going to balance gear in the game, because I mean, the best PvP gear may not necessarily be the best stuff for PvE. I wonder how they're going to balance it, because I mean, they're going to have legendary boss drops and stuff for like recipes and stuff. So I mean, it's going to force your more hardcore PvPers, the guys who definitely like to play PvP all the day, gank and grief and, just have their fun, attacking caravans and stuff. Those guys are going to have to get away from the battlefield sometimes and actually have to go and kill bosses or go do this stuff from time to time. I wonder if there's going to be much rewards, at least with gear-wise, in PvP, as there is in PvE.
I
Or
really
maybe you'll
hope...
just be able to buy it.
Okay. Who wants to talk?
Mjolnir?
No, I'm kind of excited for the fact that we're gonna have to like grind out dungeons to get fully geared, but
Mhm.
at the same time, like coming from WoW and having a different gear set for PvP, which got taken away, I don't know how I feel about that coming back into, or just having to grind out gear as a base set for both.
I mean,
And
gear's
if
not
I have to do PvE, that's fine.
I hope they do a good enough job balancing it so that you can earn gear through PvP and through PvE, and both can be crossed over. So you could take your gear you earned in your PvE into PvP, or the gear you earned in your PvP into PvE. You're not constantly trying to switch out gear to define the best for your meta in that certain play style of the game.
I don't necessarily believe you should be earning gear through PvP, personally. Because that just leads to people just spamming arena queues and such like all day long.
Yeah,
I really, really
that's
dislike
my
it.
feeling on that as
Well,
well.
What I kind of like what Steven's presented with us so far is that everyone will have to play nice with each other in some shape or form, because everyone's going to need crafters, everyone's going to need PvEers, everyone's going to need your PvPers for different aspects of the game to propel yourselves forward and get forward in the game. So I enjoy that, because what that means to me is that your PvEers are going to actually maybe want to PvP more, because they see themselves as, hey, I might be useful in this, instead of a few PvEers I've met over the years. They don't necessarily like PvPing because it's just not their style. They just like they like facing AI on, not facing like unpredictable players or something like that. So
That goes into a whole another ballgame.
oh yeah.
Like,
Then we get into
are you trash, or are you actually decent at the game, but you just
Mhm.
don't want to?
yeah. But it makes it interesting, because then at least in a game like this, you're gonna have guilds that they will not randomly target people, without thinking where their connections and stuff, or what can I get from them. It'll be less likely that happens, actually.
I don't know about that. I mean, like, you could say that you need to play nice, but in reality, is that always the case? I mean, a lot of games like that, especially like Eve, proves quite the opposite. Most people don't play nice. When given such freedoms and interactions, they often do the exact opposite of playing nice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the world intrigue will come in.
Precisely.
Oh.
So and so doesn't like so and so. War.
Oh yeah. Cam stole my drop this one
All
one
my
dungeon.
friends are
So
heathens. Take it slow.
yeah. Basically, all I'm thinking is that Cam, like, one guild's gonna like one of their members is gonna steal one other member from another guild or another node's like stuff in a dungeon, and it's just gonna be like
Oh, I
all
can't
out
wait.
World War. Like
I can't
over-
wait. Oh,
it's gonna be basically like Helen of Troy being stolen from fucking Sparta. It's gonna be fucking.
that's how it should be
awful.
though. Like I don't mind doing PvE content, and I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
mind going out and grinding, mats or gathering shit. But I want it always to be competitive. You know what I mean? Always.
Absolutely.
I'm wanting
Well-
too much from like gathering, but everything else, I want every aspect to be competitive. Whether it's guilds getting mad at guilds because you finished a dungeon first or a raid first, or simple fact that you went into a territory that doesn't belong to you.
So everything competitive, like competitive marriage system.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, man.
Like
Proxy.
my wife is hotter than your wife, like all that, dude.
I was thinking more like, if you both are interested in a girl, you have to like, duel to the death over
Hell yeah, military notes, dude.
What? I was thinking Ash the Bachelor.
duel for
Yeah,
waifus.
we'll be at most Ash's bachelor. Like
Yeah, and I throw the roses at people. There you
House
go.
I
Take
give you
a
my, I
contest.
give you the rose. I give you my stufferton.
oh fucking Stufferton.
Ree!
Really?
No, but like, oh god.
Drowning in his suppression.
Well, what is cool is there's gonna be competitiveness with crafting if they do it correctly. Like I have a few people in my guild who they want to open up a fucking bakery and stuff, and I'm like, this sounds awesome to me. I like this whole idea of
Oh,
them
yeah.
opening up
Yo,
a
you make some
bakery.
dope ass
and then-
sandwiches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're planning to make the best fucking pastries in the land, and I'm
That's-
like, you do that. We'll
Jesus.
defend that. we'll
That's
we'll,
my
we'll
goal.
defend that shop. That'll be our fucking
I'm gonna
place.
open- I-
Best
that's my
pastries
goal.
confirmed.
I like
Cook.
I like the
This
sexual
is funny.
fantasies about being the innkeeper from Hearthstone.
What?
Yeah,
What?
he wanted this.
Sexual?
like-
Whoa, dude.
With
Yeah.
like with these shops, like these shops like specific goods and
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
like people are gonna mass produce. What happens if we end like an arcade scenario where like for the first few months lumber is the only thing that's ever sold because everyone needs fucking wood, and they have these fucking tree
Yeah.
forests.
Then you
Does that mean
capitalize on
we're gonna see like fucking lumber yards everywhere for like the first 2 months? Like no taverns, no inns, no bakeries, no butchers, none of that shit. Just fucking lumber yards.
What do you
every
mean? There's
fucking
gonna be
one
whorehouse
in every
there.
corner.
It's a hard worker
Going into a
to have
Minecraft server.
something.
I'm definitely opening a whorehouse.
Oh god.
This is a Christian Ashes server.
and Deus Volt.
AshesPeopleMeet.com. New website. Go
I'm
ahead,
just
look
like-
it up.
Yeah, the amount of people I've said like turn around, I'm going to open a tavern. I think about like 2,000 people have probably told me they're going to open a tavern in Ashes.
Dude, they're gonna be competing.
Taverns everywhere.
well, like, I don't know who it was I was talking to the other
Taco
day,
Tuesdays.
But I was like, hey, what happens if I want to place a freehold on top of this mountain? You get up there and there's like 5 inns already there, and you're like, I
20
thought this was
taverns.
my mountain. Just like, yeah, fucking taverns everywhere.
Yeah, they flip their tables and using them as like barricades, and they're shooting back and forth at each other.
Yeah, it's God.
Taverns of Creation.
Jesus.
Tavern simulator.
Dude,
It's
like,
weird because at least in like real life, you could run the other taverns out of business somehow. But could you really realistically run a virtual
yeah, you burn
tavern?
their fucking building down to the ground. It's
Like,
gonna be
look
like
at these taverns inside the node. How would you get rid of the other taverns? Like
You-
the competing.
you
with
just turn. You turn suddenly in the middle of the battle.
You
You just like run in with a
to
torch.
take over the node.
Poison the tavern owner's wife.
Oh god.
Well, at that point, I like what you said. You could just hire those groups of PvPers and have them do it for you, and then you pay them whatever back tax is owed. But that'd be kind of rad. That's what I wanted to do originally before I joined a guild. Is I wanted to merc for different guilds and help them out with like tax collection.
Yeah.
And I'm probably still gonna do that, but probably on a smaller scale than I was originally. But that's a dope idea. I like that.
So we're running rackets, is what we're doing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Goddamn right.
Like you need protection money, or else they might be back.
Oh yeah, taxes on land via political corruption of the owner of the node. Yeah,
I wonder
who's
if you're
be-
gonna be able to like actually file bankruptcy or something in game. Like that'd be so funny to me.
you can't afford your fucking tavern anymore because the competition's too high.
But is
You
that
know,
the
they
thing that could happen?
for you.
Because you have
I-
taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you run out of gold, what happens?
They just foreclose your ship. The node owns your fucking building.
Jesus.
I'm just gonna imagine people like complaining, like, "How's it been going?" "Oh, not too good, man."
I lost my wife, my fucking
wife left
tavern.
me. She
It's
took
gonna
the
be like
kids."
what was that movie? Casablanca, when the dude's sitting at the actual on the bar stool
yeah.
drinking a glass of scotch, and he's like sitting there like contemplating his entire life. Oh,
Oh god.
every time, dude.
I'm hoping every April we have to file taxes. Like, do you have your W-2 and your raid expenditures? Those are tax deductible.
Jesus. And go ahead and file what you use for your.
Oh, and then also
you're
the
a cleric? Oh, tax reform. You a cleric?
But guess what? We got the mentor system. That's tax deductible.
You're a
also.
servant of the Lord. That's a tax write-off.
Wait. You're the Pope of religion? Oh, no taxes for you.
Yeah, no.
Yes, if you earn max religious rep, you don't have to have taxes.
Oh god. Oh, I mean, it's kind of. Oh god. Talking about shops though. We had the candy store or whatever with the February Stufferton drop.
The ice cream.
Yeah. What's up with the necromancer shop? Is that like what are they selling there? Is it like voodoo or
It's
like
alchemy. It's alchemy stuff.
It's a sex
Alchemy?
shop.
They just sell
Is it
alcohol.
sex shop?
Yeah,
Oh,
gags and whips, dude, the entire time.
Precious corpses.
sounds like you're a traditional edgelord.
bone. We'll call it bones and things. Oh god. No, and then like the sanctuary, it's for your freehold. So now it seems, are all the other shops, are those for your freehold or are those for the actual in the city? That's
Those
kind of
were
what
for
I've
in
been.
the city. I think all the backer ones have been for in the city, right? They haven't done any freehold cosmetic stuff.
No. So like the backer ones, they had 3 ones for the freehold, and the sanctuary has been for the freehold. But I'm not sure about the necromancer and the candy store, if those are freehold or if those are
I'm
for the
pretty
city.
sure those were for the city, because the necromancer one was like an alchemical laboratory.
Should actually put like some better descriptions on the shop for these things, because like if you look at like half the stuff, there's like just very basic like death from above for the Pegasus cart thing. Does it glide? Does it fly? Are they two separate
yeah.
things? It doesn't really explain exactly what you are buying, apart from it's a skin, but that's about it.
Well, and you think, as we go further and further closer to PAX, he'd put a lot more detail into this stuff, because we're looking at a shit ton of new people are coming into the community that they haven't seen anything. So when they see these flying hippogriffs, they assume there's flying mounts in the game, and
They even assume that it's just a buyable mount, that it's not a
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah.
They should really be more descriptive in those the shop details, because you just don't know what you're buying essentially.
yeah, because
Like, is your city gonna get attacked by like everybody just riding those giant dinosaur mounts that just run your city over? Like, is that gonna be applicable in actual PvP or?
Yo, I'm
Dude.
gonna own that military node and drive that dragon into your freehold.
hey,
I'm telling you that right
speaking-
now.
Speaking of dragons, what really made me happy is that dragons are not going to be the only royalty mount. You get to choose your royalty mount when you become mayor or king or queen or whatever. Steven confirmed that there is going to be multiple type of mounts like that are going to be of varying styles and stuff. So you don't, I joked around, but I'm like, if you have a naval node, like let's say you're losing the siege and suddenly this guy shirtless comes out and he's like, release the Kraken, and you see the mayor rolling out with a Kraken destroying ships and shit. That'd be cool.
How would you ride a Kraken?
It drags
dude.
itself across the ground.
You find a way. You
Just rolls
find a
around.
way.
Yeah,
you
you
just
still-
grab you with a tentacle and just wave you around in the air.
Yeah,
you
that's
above his
cool.
head with 2 tentacles.
Then
You
it
are the
accidentally
Kraken.
slams a ship and it kills you in the process.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you've seen was it One Punch Man, where the guy slaps his shoulder,
Yeah,
it kills his brother, just like that with a Kraken.
So, Andrew, is that confirmed that you're gonna ride on a tentacle monster?
Yeah, tentacle monsters. All the waifus better watch out.
There's no lollies in game.
Yeah, no lollies. That was confirmed too. So we're good to go.
Thinking, do dwarf women count as lollies?
No, because they have beards now. That was confirmed,
Beard's
actually.
confirmed.
Beards.
You say
Beard-
lollies can't have beards?
That would make them no longer lollies, wouldn't that? That'd be like,
I don't know. As long as it looks like a small girl, isn't it a lolly? Like so, okay.
This
so
is 2018, my friend.
so basically, we can make all lollies sort of adult just by putting a beard on them.
Small bearded girls.
No bearded girl.
Jesus.
Bearded lollies.
lollies.
No, this brings up a good
Yeah.
question. Lolly plus beard equals non-lolly? That's the math I'm doing.
Jesus. You know what? The lollies were confirmed not to exist. So we're just let's move on to another.
Anything else?
Oh God.
I want to know if, I want to know if a dwarf is a bearded lolly or not. I'm
Yeah,
confused
yeah,
now.
Jesus. Yeah,
I'm gonna
dwarves
scour
are
the
built
internet for
of-
this.
Jesus Christ. Though one thing that was interesting is that Steven talked about how there's going to be like tiers or like styles of mounts. I wonder if that's going to just be simplistic of like tankier mounts, like travel mounts, merchant mounts, or if it's going to be something more than that, being like, you know, you have your monster tentacle monsters like as a type of mount, or you'll have like your ape type things, your like bruisers, or like just horses. I wonder if there's going to be like a wide variety, or if it's just going to be like 3 or 4 different classes that you can reskin and stuff like that.
And it was like normal mounts, gliding mounts, ocean mounts, and just the dragon, king, queen stuff
Gotcha.
that I
Okay.
know so far. I don't know if there's any more types than that, maybe in future expansions, but I imagine for a release they would probably keep it somewhat simple. I guess.
Simplicity is pretty good at launch. Let everyone understand what's going on in the game.
And they've already got
And
quite a
bring
bit
out
of
the
things.
tentacles.
They,
Oh yeah.
there's quite a lot of stuff they already have planned. for
There's a
them.
lot of stuff.
I don't know, like, I don't know how I feel about that, because when BDO started, there was so much shit to do, and it was, like, overwhelming at first, but then it got really fun quick, and then it died off super fast, so I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, I know that in BDO, half the reason why most of the people who aren't PvPers stick with BDO seem to be the mount system, like the breeding mounts. So they bet. I know that there's a bunch of people in my guild who like they're looking at this game because they heard there's more taming and breeding of mounts. So they're like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do the whole game, and I'm. You know, so they better get that right. That needs to be one of the things they get right, because that seems to be the new big thing in
It's the
MMOs.
Pokemon Master in all of us. We're like,
So-
gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
I want to
Once
breed
again,
a
chat
kraken and a
released the
dragon.
bearded lollies. Sorry,
Jesus Christ.
Only chat.
Can we breed our bearded lollies?
Jesus Christ.
do we have to petition this? Get CEO put bearded lollies in game now.
Do lollies have rights?
Are they lollies? though?
Hey, does Steven even listen to petitions? I mean, he is the creator.
Oh yeah, on stream, yeah. I don't listen to board members. I have no board members.
Yeah. His soapbox. Actually, Crumb put up the meme.
The meme.
Jesus.
Where is it? Let me pull
Oh,
up
God.
the beautiful picture of Steven.
Yeah, the beautiful picture of Steven. Oh, God. No, like, there it is.
Not even in the frame.
There we go.
Doesn't even fit in the
Put
frame.
it over everything.
Is that lean? Really?
No.
Somebody put lean in a cup? Oh my god.
Oh wait, yeah,
Dude,
it is.
Dude, we
Double cup.
all we did was look up Steven on Google Images, and that's like the 30th thing down to find. What? Yeah.
It's pretty
No,
amazing.
like Def. I mean, Proxy. You that whole like when he was on stream for like the 30-minute tangent. He's like, I don't answer to anyone. I am the Senate, basically. Like,
I can confirm his eyes do go like that.
They do. I can confirm as well.
Can this be the in-game model for Steven?
oh God.
I think like Steven's maybe just going more eccentric or something. Like he's just finally losing the plot. He's got like everything he wants in life, and it's just I can do whatever I want.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh god. Oh god.
Except for Stuffington, he can't do that apparently.
Oh yeah, Stuffington.
People
Oh,
lose their fucking minds.
dude, the devs are so fucking offended that everyone was against it every single time they like even something Stuffington
I
was once
beginning
brought
to
up.
accept it because it was explained pretty well as like an animated magic golem. I mean, it makes
Well,
sense.
honestly, what can you not explain with the law? Escape code, like just magic. You could
You
put
just say magic, it works. For
Yeah.
you just magic anything. Well, why is there a car? in there?
Science. I ain't gotta
Magic.
explain shit.
But the car doesn't fit in with magic.
Mhm.
Oh god.
It's pretty magical.
Man, isn't this magical?
So is Stuffington in the game or not?
I mean, it is in the game, of course.
It
I mean,
is in
I'm
the
not
game?
gonna-
We'll see what happens.
They may change the way it looks, I imagine, because they did have some feedback on that. I think they might.
I want to
change
see
how
a
it looks
corrupted
in-game
Stuffington.
a bit. A corrupted Stuffington would have been like a million times better. in my
I'm
Would it be
opinion.
talking
like
like
really-
I'm,
A zombie Stufferton. Come on.
Something
Wouldn't that
like-
be like the
something
bear
like
from League
just-
of Legends?
oh my god, what happened to it?
I mean, imagine like
Oh.
if like a little girl had a Stuffington and it looked like a fucking badass fucking golem with like a teddy bear.
That's literally
Okay,
League of
can we
Legends.
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't like Tibbers? Let's be honest.
I
Tibbers
hate
is-
Tibbers, dude. He's an idiot.
How can you hate
He has
Tibbers?
a
You
weird
like
face and he
Stuffington, but you
smells
hate
weird.
confused.
I don't
you
like
hate-
Stuffington. I never said that.
Oh, you like Stuffington?
I like Tibbers.
I want a zombie Stuffington.
Zombie Stuffington.
Yes.
A necromancer Stuffington?
Yes.
Combine the first 2 months packages.
I want like fell energy to come out of his paws and an eyeball to be hanging
That'd
out
be
of its
fun.
socket.
Like just
That's
you
what I
know,
want.
like an undead friend of yours, like your grandpa or something. You just stick him in a bear suit, and that
Your
is,
grandpa?
Stuffington. Yeah, you stick.
Hey, Grandpa, can I borrow you?
Dude, Stuffington's gonna go great at birthday parties, man. The
I
dancing
need you
bear.
for a school project.
Skull project.
Oh yeah, stuffed bears stuffed dragons are those gonna be things like for the royal mount?
Let's get a whole
I know, like-
stuffed package.
I know games like Terra and Bless and some other games that make like super plushy like mount skins that are kind of funny.
Let's not turn AoC into Terra.
They're gonna have a stuffed mount
Oh,
crate.
I can't
But the-
imagine making.
The skins are kind of cool though.
I can't imagine making a stuffed fiery dragon would be a good idea.
No,
Considering
it's
stuff-
gonna blow its
Fine.
stuffing.
Should be a
Stuffing and
self-igniting
button.
dragon.
Oh,
Post fire
another,
just lights stuff on fire.
another quick thing. How do you guys feel about like casual clothing as like a look for your character?
Well, I kind of.
While you're walking around town and shit.
No,
I
like
guess if it's
you're-
fitting with the theme,
like
I
a little
guess,
costume
but-
that you can put over.
Yeah. No, Mjolnir, I like it because the fact is there's a lot of RPers out there in the world, and they like
But-
to not be wearing full plate all the time.
But
So
not
I
also,
think just-
wait, should you be
Well, but
forced to
he's
wear
saying
armor
like
in
in
combat,
fight
though?
and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that would take away from.
Like,
Dark
what are you just gonna
aspect.
like walk around in your pajamas in the middle of a boss fight?
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, it happens in every single game we've ever seen. The naked guy who can one hit everyone.
Should we bring up the fact that there was an entire like raid in ESO where everyone was wearing wedding suits?
In
Yeah.
what?
In ESO, we all got the wedding costume, the white female
Oh,
wedding
yeah,
costume,
the-
and went raiding.
Yeah, we all wore the bride's costume from ESO and went raiding and PvP'd in it. Like, yeah, like
Should
But,
that be?
you know,
See,
acceptable?
but stuff like that's funny to me. You know what I mean? And
It's
I kind of
funny.
like how making my character look casual.
It's
What
funny,
happens if
but
you
should
had,
it be the norm?
I mean, what happens if you had like a cosmetic that changed when you went into a town or something? So you got like your town and your house clothes and things like if you go home, you go into your bedroom pajamas.
That'd be cool.
mhm.
Yeah, around town, I think casual wear
Yeah.
should definitely be a thing. But
I just don't think it should be in combat.
it,
Oh,
be a
you
little
know what?
ridiculous
You know
when they're
that's
actually
a good idea. If there was a toggle for like when you're in town, you suddenly click a button and you're now in your casual
Yeah.
dress clothes
Well,
for town.
It could be
Then
something.
as soon as you lose end town, it'll be like switch it back over to your like actual.
You can make it
armor.
optional, like it's not enforced. If you want to walk in town with your plate mail on, there's nothing stopping you, kind of thing. It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a toggle feature that you
I'm
can.
sure that problem could be. Yeah, that problem could be solved by something as simple as just having multiple costumes that you can filter
Yeah, but then
between.
you might have to like equip it and de-equip it manually all the time, right? It'd be just more easy if it was just
Yeah.
automatically happen, right? Because it's
Automatic.
Just, yeah.
Or like when you enter your homestead, you kind of
Yeah, exactly.
Or
A tavern, you know, you got your
there was
party
an item
clothes and shit.
get on your sandals and your stretch pants.
there was an item in BDO on their shop that basically would let you transfer, like put certain item set inside the box, and then at the like a keystroke or something on your action bar, you swapped over to everything. So I don't know if something like that would be kind of cool idea. If it's
Like a toggle.
yeah, exactly.
I can get behind that. I just don't
Little
wanna
box
see
you have in
casual
your
clothing in
inventory.
combat.
I don't know, man. I think it would be kind of cool. It'd keep, things fresh. If you didn't want to wear it, you don't have to. And if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. But those people that do,
Yeah.
I've always liked it for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the new cosmetics that they put up? Like both the new artwork for the summer backers stuff, and then also the protectors April gear that they put up. What do you guys think? Because it seems like a welcome change since February. We're getting back to more of the fantasy roots, more of the paladin-esque, like stereotypical MMO that isn't like lolly and weird and weebish. So weird lolly. But what do you guys think of the new stuff from April and also the summer backers artwork?
I like it thematically a lot. But like my problem with like all this backer stuff is I'm afraid how much of this is not going to be put into the game because it was a backer thing. Like, because I really like the Protector's Sanctuary, right? It looks very traditional, classic stone church. Like something you'd find in like medieval London.
Mm-hmm.
But is that going to be locked off now? Like how many people are actually going to have that and then be able to equip that into the game?
Well, I'm sure everything that they're releasing now, they'll have another version of it that may be less over the top or less detailed in game for people to buy. I'm assuming, because they're not going to do all this work for this stuff just for if 400 people bought this one item. They're not going to do all that work. So they'll probably use it and just color it different or something like that. Because someone did ask Steven about coloration for I think costumes or the skins, and his answer was basically kind of like, well, if something's named the armor of the White Lion, he's like, we wouldn't want you dying in black, so there's going to be different versions of it.
So recolors and stuff.
Recolors might be a thing, so
I hope so.
It's like
Recolors are fine, but reskins, like if you go to one zone and this next zone over has the same exact skin, but it's a different color, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
That's just lazy to me, to be honest. But I mean, we'd have to wait and see.
Bacon has stated on several occasions that everything that he does is to ensure that the zones, everything is new whenever you go from one place to another. He hates doing the whole like cookie cutter, like World of Warcraft thing where it's like every single race has the same 6 buildings and they're placed everywhere in the world type of thing.
Yeah.
He if AoC does it where it's like the whole map is different, you're not going to see the same node setups. You're not going to like, if stuff like that is cool, like, yeah, it may just be like a one-time like awe thing, but that is the little stuff is really what keeps people around, really makes people like a game because they have all the little stuff that really gets at you.
Well, the only thing I can say to that is there's no secret why there's so many other game companies in the industry that want bacon. So the dude's talented and he knows what he's doing, and the gaming industry knows that, and I think communities should know that too.
I'll just add, are a nice guy too.
Genuinely, yes, he's a fantastic human being.
All right. So we are going on. We're going on
50
for an
minutes.
hour and 7 minutes. So, oh wait, no, we're not. Never mind. We're going on 50 minutes. I forgot we started the stream like 20 minutes early. So yeah,
Yeah.
never mind. We still have 20 minutes, guys. If you want to go for an hour, up to you.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm having a blast.
Or I mean, like, if you want to, yeah, whatever. You can go for as long as you like.
Now let's get into some PvP topics, hey?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Go,
I
What
did.
do you wanna talk about?
I did try the latest build.
Okay.
All right, how'd you
Uh,
feel?
It's getting there. Improvements. At least I noticed some stuff that I seem to like a little more. My group unfortunately had 2 people on DPS who quote, "I didn't know how to target anyone."
Wow.
And
Feels
I remember
fucking
talking with them
bad.
before and being like, "Yeah, it's basic tab targeting." And I'm like, "Okay." And then me and my buddy who were playing the tank and the healer had triple their DPS for
Oh
their,
Jesus Christ!
and they were the mage and the ranger. So that was.
Did you played tank on that then?
I
Tank
did.
PvP.
Okay, how was the melee for that? Because when I played tank for PvP at West, it was painful. You couldn't hit anyone. It still had that stupid hot bar thing. It was awful. But like, did it feel a
Yeah,
little
did you still have
better?
the quick
Like,
time event?
There wasn't no the that's kind of out right now. They pretty much told us to just mash Q.
See, okay, and now I really, really, really hope like you probably weren't able to there, but keybinds.
Rebind, yeah.
Oh
You
my
couldn't
God.
use any keybinds. I'm with you on that. Don't get me wrong, like you get used to it, but yeah, it is a little yeah.
Dumb.
yeah.
Like you're just spamming there. You're literally just like Q Q Q Q Q Q 1 1 Q Q Q Q 2 going 1 1 Q Q Q Q 4. The skills all felt pretty responsive, so I'll give them that. And I don't know about the
Oh, boy.
point taking. You like go from point to point, take down their statue, and then switch it over to your team
Okay.
statue.
So it was the same kind of thing they had.
Yeah,
for
I think
PAX
you
West.
played it at PAX West.
Yeah.
What did you feel about the tank's giant yellow wall ability?
Oh,
You can
God.
bring that up.
I think it's awesome.
If
Oh,
used in the
man.
right circumstances, it is
Triggered.
relatively effective.
See, Crumb, I think you're about the only person who doesn't like the wall.
I think it's so stupid.
So-
You're a tank. You're not supposed to be summoning magic walls out of the ground. You're like meant to be holding up your shield, and that should be your wall.
Hey, Reinhardt, calm down, okay?
Actually, he
See-
does make a good point that like it should be something that you hold your shield up and it comes off the shield.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
that style. I think.
No,
Yeah,
and
it's more of a caster thing.
It makes more sense for it to work like that because if just you're making a wall appear out the ground, then maybe that would be like an augmented version of it.
Or maybe a more interesting way or a better way that it could be animated.
It
is
could be
like,
better
swamp the ground
animated.
and like a
A
piece
rock
of
wall.
Yeah,
Like a
like
rock-
rocks
rocks
shot
come
up
up
out
or
of the
something.
ground. Yeah.
Imagine like you put your shield up, yeah, and that wall comes up on the shield, yeah. You got this huge big wall
yeah,
there,
that
right?
would be.
I mean,
there,
yeah.
And then you could use your rush ability with it, and you could knock like 10 people flying backwards as you
Mhm.
rush into
So
So
them.
then you'd
Right.
literally be
Right.
Reinhardt. Okay, you're literally
Exactly.
Reinhardt.
I don't care
Reinhardt
if you're
is-
Reinhardt.
How
It's
much fun
perfectly
would that
fine.
be, though?
It would be
Okay,
fun.
yes.
Reinhardt.
Honor and glory.
You could do some interesting.
Honor.
Essentially,
you
Think about it.
What if
Think
you
about it.
have
You're on the
multiple
cliff edge.
tanks?
You can see loads of people. You just go charging and you knock them off the cliff edge of the castle wall. And you go fucking splat on the other side.
Oh,
Glorious.
Or what if you get a bunch of tanks together and you form a shield wall?
Oh,
See,
hell yeah.
Yeah, I love the
Charge,
shield
my
wall.
brothers!
That's the thing. I know quite a few people don't like ESO, but I think ESO did one cool thing, which is the block mechanic in the game, where you actually raise up your weapon or your shield and you can block and you get more armor, or you can take harder
Oh, yeah,
hits
and you can
better that
bash
way.
to interrupt.
Mhm.
Like,
I
yeah.
think they need to implement at least a shield block for the tanks or people who are holding a sword and board.
I
think
thinking
that
about
needs
it.
to
Like,
be a
how
thing.
would they translate the ESO block into like AoC? And I was thinking it could be like a toggle, so you can hit like 2 and it will toggle your shield up, or it can toggle your shield down.
You get more health and defense, but you lose attack or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like a mode
Yeah,
basically.
well, that's
If
what,
you had
Go ahead.
if you guys had a group of tanks, at least one of you'd have to be named Trump.
Yeah, we'll build it. We're building a wall,
We're gonna build a wall,
and we're gonna make the Tallnar pay for it.
and it's gonna be huge.
You
Jesus.
no, but like that's the thing. Like I think little things like that little if they did like a toggle tank mode where you just like stand there, you move slower, you do less damage, but you like have
That's
higher health and you
almost
take
what happened in WoW. If you guys played the original tank and you had your stances,
Mhm.
you had your like I don't remember what all the stances were, but you did have a tanking stance and you used
Battle,
like, your-
defensive, and Berserker.
Yeah. I love
Well,
that.
we have the
I do
augment
too.
abilities, so you never know what might change that ability into something else with the augments. But
Mhm.
With the augments, you can just throw your shield wall at people. Just,
Yeah.
you never know. Maybe
Yeah.
instead of the shield wall being placed at a
Turns into
certain
Captain America out of nowhere.
Yeah, Captain America Reinhardt over here is Proxy's wet dream, apparently.
Honor and
Imagine
glory.
it just like
and then
a
shield
big
goes
flying
off.
shield, like just a friggin' wall flying through the enemies.
Yeah, you know what? Why are you even letting go of the shield? Why don't you just hop on top of it as it's
Surf it.
spinning in the air?
Surf,
yeah,
surf the wall into the enemy.
It's like rocket riding.
yeah, you're rocket riding. You throw the shield and lunge with it. No,
Just
like,
take
but
all
that,
of our favorite gimmicks.
I think
and
the
throw them in one
enemies
game.
would be bricking themselves.
but I mean, what do you guys think? Would that add a little something to the game? Because I know with how it seems with the tanks now, it's just like, oh, you have a lot of health. It doesn't seem like you're actually a tank, other than you have a lot of health and you have a few CCs.
I do
It's
think
like
it
a
would add a
weird-
lot to the game to add a way to block. Or a
It's weird
stance or
that
something.
the weird like you just leash people at the moment, what it seems, and they just kind of walk away from you. Like you've
Yeah,
leashed
yeah.
them,
Yeah.
they're in front of you, and then they just casually walk away like nothing happened. It's like, well, what
Mhm.
the fuck is this ability?
No, like stuff like that. I think like a block or like if you had a shield bash, stuff like that. I think that would be really add in something to the game, because you're sitting there and you know you actually feel like a tank when you raise up your shield and suddenly you got 8 people bashing on you and you can live a little longer than normal.
It'd be good if like if you like on your controls, if you pressed E, that would give you your block.
Yeah,
Mhm.
something.
And the enemy you're targeting, if you were to press Q, you don't just do a sword strike, you just do like a little mini dash towards them.
Yeah.
So you could try and catch up a bit. Because at the moment you kind of press Q, don't you? And you can't really keep up with the enemy because they're just walking faster than you and they got movements. But if you had a little dash, you could slowly move up on them,
Yeah.
as you go. I think that would be better.
Well, because now the Rangers, since PAX West, they've had they have that little like fire rollback thing, like. And I know when I played at PAX West, it was terrible to be the tank and go against a Ranger. Basically, you could never catch up to him because by the time the cooldown happened for his little barrel roll backwards and shoot you, he by the time he got up there, he already had a cooldown
They
and
did
was
add a
rolling.
charge to the tank. So
Yeah. Which that would help, yeah. Was there a shield bash with the charge, or was it just kind of you charge and slash? Cam.
Yeah, it
Charge.
seemed like it just seemed like a distance closer. There wasn't like a stun
Ah,
attached
okay.
or a shield bash. You do have shield bash ability though, which is
Oh,
good to use
okay.
once you get up.
Hmm.
And then they have the chain pull, like the
Yeah.
single chain pull, and then their ultimate is the big group chain pull.
So
which
basically, you're like a Death Knight from World of Warcraft. Is that what I'm understanding?
Let's look at the fact that ultimate chain pull is fucking sick.
you like
They
it?
throw the
Yeah.
sword up into the air. Yeah, dude, it is sick.
So it's like they
Again, I just like more thematically friendly abilities. Like throwing the sword up into the air and then spawning chains out of your sword doesn't seem like a realistic thing you could do. And it doesn't have to entirely be realistic, but I would like to see something more thematically for someone who isn't magically inclined.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it seems like the tank it looks a lot better than what it was, but I feel like they need a little more to make it more fun, make it so you feel more tanky. That's what I saw. Cam, can you say of all the different classes which one were your favorite and which ones were your least favorite so far?
from what I played, I mean, Ranger just blows things up. It's awesome.
Oh yeah,
A
Ranger
rain
was-
of arrows, like the fire arrow. If used correctly, you can go through things by yourself. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Everything's going down so fast. I will say if a tank and a cleric are working in conjunction together, where they know like, well, you're gonna do a chain pull, and then you put down. It's like a cleric chain ability where more enemies in the area get tethered, like not tethered, but they get damaged for being near this certain point that you put down. If you chain them together and pull them in, you're doing so much damage. It's awesome. Just there is a little bit of synergy between the classes currently, but I feel like that could be explored more.
Yeah.
How did someone win an Alpha Zero key? Can we talk about this a minute? What's going on here?
I feel like
Crumb.
he's trolling us.
Yeah, Crumb,
He's
you're getting
trolling us.
trolled.
How did he do
Yeah,
that though? How did he
he's
write in
got
purple?
trolled.
It's just, I think he just does a thing where you can write
He's got
purple.
he's got the
Skip the
special
prime shit.
write-ins.
What? How do you
Yeah,
write in
it's fake
purple?
news.
That's
You can do
right,
that?
everybody. We're giving away.
If you open the chat window and type in Alt F4, and
You gotta bring it.
$1,000. Jesus, Mjolnir.
You know, I live on the edge, all right?
Yeah, yeah.
Man.
Dude, we've had some fun here. Oh god,
I've been bamboozled.
bamboozled again.
Jill
Just-
baited.
Oh no, but like, it seems like they, they're going along the tracks pretty well. I mean, as Steven put it, we're no longer just a hype train. We're just a train steaming down the tracks at this point. Like, yeehaw! The heresy train has no brakes. Like,
Yeah.
like to be quite honest, I think they're doing pretty well from what we've seen so far. It concerns me a little bit because they didn't really change up much from the last packs compared to what we saw at this packs. But I definitely feel like they gave us a lot of information. I was a little worried at the panel when the panel gave us a bunch of new information, but it wasn't too much. But the last 2 days with Jeff Bacon and Steven, with them answering basically any question whatsoever that pops up, it really did really help things out to make things a lot more interesting.
yeah, I think eventually they're going to have to start showing things rather than just talking about things, because there's only
People
so many
are getting
times you
worried.
can. Well, it's not just so much worry. It's just there's only so long you can tell people, "Oh, we're going to add this and this and this," but if they don't see some representation of it, then they're going to
Right.
go. You know?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly,
Mm.
I don't care what I see. I just want to see something. I don't care if it's like a
You know what?
10-second
Cut
clip
Crumb
of
died.
a brand new.
Died.
What?
You
I
died.
Cut out.
I died. Oh, I was
Yeah,
gonna
it's
say.
weird.
I don't care
You push
what
the
I'm
talk.
seeing, as long as it's like I just want to see something. Like I don't care if it's a 10-second animation clip of this new ability they're doing. Like the smallest things I'd like to see in terms of development.
Kind of like how they had for the class previews before PAX West. They showed what each of the spells and abilities did. That was kind of cool. I definitely agree with you, Proxy. They need to start being, one of my friends, Pasha, he was complaining. He's like, well, they've always talked about how transparent they're going to be compared to other things, but they haven't shown us anything for almost, it seems, months. Really, they've talked about everything, but they haven't shown us really much. And with Alpha Zero being in as tight-lipped NDA, oh yeah, isn't it NDA? Can't even talk about the NDA.
Hey, NDA, dude.
Yeah,
NDA.
NDA.
NDA,
yeah.
no comment.
Don't comment. But like, with how tight-lipped they are, it's almost like, they're going back against their word of being transparent, like it that worries me a bit because, it's one thing to say something, it's another thing to actually show us what's going on. I think a lot of people, they're getting frustrated now because they're like, what's happening? There's not.
Well, one thing that I can say is if you're not, worried, you really don't really care about the game. You know what I mean? So if you're not sitting there questioning, hey, I wonder what they're going to do with this, that, and the other, you really don't, I guess, have the passion that some people say they do. And that also comes with how active people are in the Discord and this, that, and the other. But it's good to worry, but I'm going to hope and pray that what they say
Oh
is,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
vitalized.
To be Angel's advocate here, I really think that they're waiting until they actually have the anything that they're working on. They want it to be like
Near
I
complete.
think,
or
yeah, I think
working.
they don't want to show it until it's like near complete, yeah, working.
Yeah, because people have been pretty negative about
seems-
AoC as of recent. So
It seems like on the panel they were talking about how they go into like that testing thing and they test a lot of things, but like most of it they don't use or they're still working on like the things that they actually do like they're working on. So I think they just get to it, you know, slowly as it's act because they don't want to show people some half-assed
I mean, yeah,
stuff.
they say slowly, but then they also said they want the game out before 2019. So
Yeah.
it's, I'm sorry, in 2020. So it's kind of, are they gonna? Do you think guys like they're gonna make that? I don't think they're gonna make that.
There's
no
no way
way.
they're gonna
I don't think it's
Um,
likely, but I would hope.
I think it's
well, here's the
possible.
thing. The only way I think they will make that is if they have half of what they already have planned done, and they're just not showing us yet because it's not polished. That's the only way I think they're gonna make it, because
like,
I-
you got
it's just like I want to hope that it's going to be there, mainly just because all the MMOs out right now are trash. I'm sick of playing all the MMOs I have been playing, but at the same time, you know, we're sitting here and how much of the stuff are they not showing us that they have working? They've grown the team a little bit, so they got more people
They've grown
working.
the team a lot,
Yeah,
but
and also, Steven did say, or both Steven and Jeff did confirm, if anyone did want to become a janitor at Intrepid Studios, please send in your resume to them because they want
Dude,
more.
I'm doing it
cleaners.
now. Hello?
Wait, they need a janitor?
They don't care about
I
the money.
I
Obvious you
straight up,
should.
because they were giving Jeff or Josh shit, and I asked him straight up. I'm like, so what if I legitly wanted to become your guys' janitor? And they're like, yeah, send in a resume. We'll look it over.
Dude, I live like my college is like 15 minutes away from there.
Yeah, send it in.
Whoa,
So I should
you're
do
in
it.
college. It needs to be full time. I'm in.
Hey, dude, I
I'm
can do
kidding.
full time. I'm doing classes online. Get out of my face.
So-
yeah, guys. You're considering like Alpha 1 is what now in the end of the year, and let's say that let's be optimistic for a for a change, and say that yeah, it's gonna be in October, okay? Because it's quarter for first month in October. It could be November, who knows? But let's say it is October for the sake of argument. They're gonna have at least what 3-4 months of Alpha 1 at least, because they're gonna have to give us a game. It's gonna be schedule based, I guess, because it's not persistent. So you know, you'll have these random test sessions.
So
and then
December or January's earliest,
And we'll be
possible
testing
for
Siege.
Alpha 2.
it may even be longer than that. I mean, it could be 4
Yeah.
or 5 months, and then you're gonna have Alpha 2, which is the persistent stage, right? Which we're gonna be testing nearly every feature, not just like they said what features we're testing for Alpha 1, which was sieges, PvP, guild fights, all
The
that
big
crap,
stuff, yeah.
the big stuff.
Yeah.
But then in Alpha 2, we're going to be testing everything else, and
The
you
stuff
know,
that matters. let's
to
be
make
honest.
changes to all that and other additions to that, that's going to take months. I'm going to say that all the way through that year, pretty much, and then pretty much then we're already at 2020. So
yeah.
Well, we also don't know how much of the betas, how long betas will last, because if they do it correctly, by the time they get into beta 1, they should already have the game pretty much, all the basics should all be done and working by that time.
well, in theory, but what happens if they release a system? I mean, we've already seen that with the combat system, that people turn around and say, "Oh, we didn't like this." What happens if they run and say, "Oh, we fucking hate the crafting system. That's gotta go." That adds
Oh.
time back on development. You know, what happens if that happens? You know.
Yeah. Also something scared me. Someone jokingly was talking about consoles, and Bard fucking saw it, and he's like, we've been actually considering it, and wasn't joking.
Oh god, no! Like if they cater to consoles, that means everything's got to be dumbed down to fit.
Yeah, that's what
controls
that's
and
what I
mechanisms.
was fearful of. Yeah, so hopefully they just say fuck that idea. But
I mean, yeah, they would have to change their whole combat system, which I know they're a long way from complete when it comes to that. But I mean, that's gonna tone it down to like what, like 4 or 5 abilities at most, if you have to
They
do it
could,
on
No.
controller.
they could pull off
No.
what ESO did.
You
ESO,
can do a decent amount of abilities on
Yeah.
a controller.
you can.
You press R1 and then X.
Yeah,
Well,
Final
it's-
Fantasy
it's-
14 is
showed that you can.
How
at
about if
least
you make?
I
have.
If you
mean,
want
they
to make
should
a,
at least have them on different servers. I think
if you
PvP
want to
would
make
be
a
better.
console game, make a console game.
But yeah, but
Keep
you end
it
up
keep it
what
there. You know what I
you
mean?
tend to dumb down is things like the UI and the
Correct.
inventories and crafting and all that thing tends to get really dumbed down because they have to simplify it and make it easy for console to navigate the menus.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be more worried about.
I'm worried
I
about
think-
the
I
amount
think
of
they could
players
do-
fighting in a single instance for consoles compared to PC.
I mean, at the end of the day, they should focus on the PC release first and then consoles much later.
Yeah.
Even maybe even make a console version that has nothing and has its own separate patching and separate gameplay, even maybe to a certain extent.
I
and
think
it's
they
not
should
impacting
release-
PC.
I think they should release an Xbox version and then put out a mobile
No.
version before they fix it.
A
No.
mobile version.
The route of PUBG.
You know what? I feel like they need to stop what they're doing right now. Throw out a mobile version real quick. Get popularity up. There you go. Oh no. I don't know. Like as far
Ash
as
of Clans.
Ash of Clans.
You
Ash
know
of
what?
Clans.
Like, when Notepad 1 came out, me and a few of my friends were like joking literally because the way the art style is done for that Notepad 1 video could easily be converted into a mobile game.
Oh god.
Yeah, because they're all like animated models. They could easily be a mobile game, right?
Yeah. Well, like I don't know. I have faith in the studio that they'll, if it's not if it's not before 2020, it's going to be right after 2020, like probably in the months after. I don't think they're going to be kicked back too far because
I'd be happy
I
if
have
it
faith.
took longer and ended up
And as
being
I said,
a
that's
good game.
not always something they can control. As I said, it might be out of
Yeah,
their
yeah.
control.
Mhm.
Legal issues. They might have issues releasing it in OC or issues releasing it in Europe, so they delay it.
Wait, what are you talking about? What is the OC?
But you know what I mean? There's things under their control that could heavily delay the game. which they
OC, is
can't
that a
prevent.
rapper?
Yeah.
But so let's look at perspective, right? From PAX West to PAX East, how much has the game changed? Like, what have they been working on?
I mean, it looks just mostly environments from what they've shown. I haven't really seen
Yeah.
anything other new than that, really.
Mhm.
And so you have to take that length of time and consider that when how long they're going to spend developing the game towards its release.
I guess in some aspects stability was improved because I remember like the original packs there was a lot more crashes and issues, and even
Well,
some PCs had some.
I would say
meltdowns
that
almost.
for sure. It
So-
seemed to be more stable.
So
Yeah.
going to be awful here, but if we go based on the amount of money everyone spent to get into alphas and betas, we could see the betas only lasting a short time, and that all of the huge heavy lifting is done in Alpha 2, and that Alpha 2 lasts 5-6 months, and then Beta 1 and 2 last only 2 months each. Like, that could possibly be what they do, just because they didn't cost that much. Or Beta 2 might only even be, like, since everyone and their mother seems to have 100 Beta 2 keys, they may be having that only last like a month or two. So
I think Alpha 2 will probably be longer than that because
Alpha 2 is definitely, I think, going to be the longest one of them all.
Well, it's going to be up to launch because Alpha 2 is separate from the betas anyway because the alpha server is going to be up even when
Yeah.
the betas come out. People who are playing on the alpha servers can still be playing on the alpha servers,
Gotcha.
But like when the sorry, I lost my thought track there. But like games like, for example, Arcade, when they're just doing localizations, no real major game changes as such. Even that took what 6 months or so,
Mhm.
just for localization changes.
Mm.
Oh
That is-
god.
You also have to look at it though. Yeah, there wasn't like a huge change in content, but you're also trying to sell an MMO and a demo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what else are you gonna do but run a dungeon and have an arena PvP type of thing?
Mhm. And that's the thing. A lot of what we saw at PAX may just be, and even what you guys are playing in the Alpha Zero may just be literally just the outside of the car. We haven't even heard what the car sounds like. We don't know what type of seats it has, what the stereo's like. We don't. They might be hiding everything from you guys as well, and we're sitting here and there's so much more that they have ready that aren't ready to publish and show everyone yet.
No comment, NDA.
And no comment.
I mean, we know already the stuff that isn't in. For example, in the footage from PAX and the new stuff and the old stuff. Even there's stuff that predates. Like if you look at the old videos, like there's that Aztec area. There's all those other environments that we haven't actually seen them play in yet. You know, like the original ones.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, there's that whole Samoan node town, for example, at one part in one of the videos. We haven't actually seen that in game or physically walked around yet. I imagine there's a lot more environments that we haven't seen for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, because haven't all we've really seen is kind of like a wooden type area and like
Pretty much an
pretty
alpha
much-
and human node.
Yeah.
That type of
human
mo-
and elves, yeah.
All right.
So-
So, just to bring up, we are going on an hour.
Hour and 15.
And I'm hungry.
You're
So,
hungry?
I'm hungry.
Where's the food?
Well, I mean, Mjolnir, Cam, Proxy, do you guys have anything that you really want to talk about?
Bearded
Not
lollies.
really. Just thank you for inviting me.
Oh, yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always
We'll,
a pleasure
we'll
to do
probably
with you
have
guys.
all of you guys on again sometime. So,
Yeah.
Also,
the next one's just bearded lollycast.
yeah, bearded
No.
lollycat. We'll have a
No.
debate for an hour and a half, and everyone needs to bring in their own evidence to support either way.
If
The
they're
beard
at- if they're
physics,
gonna be
if
at
Crumbs
PAX
gets
Beard
West,
stuff in
physics.
there.
If they will be at PAX West, I will go dressed as a bearded lolly.
Oh my
Well,
god.
we got that recorded, right?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
that
now
was
a bet. If
You know
So
what?
You have to go.
You go to PAX
Yeah,
West
yeah.
dressed as a lolly. I go to PAX West dressed as Thor, dude. I'm doing it.
No, we're- if he dresses as a lolly, if we prove it's right, or actually, if we prove it's wrong, or if he proves it wrong, we're all dressing as Borat, the swimsuit Borat, and going to
I
PAX.
think maybe we should all go as bearded lollies, and then we can
Bearded
like you know.
lollies,
Yes,
yeah.
let's
we-
go.
we all just go as
bearded
braid.
lollies.
Hold on,
Oh god.
we all go as bearded lollies, and then we braid each other's beards, so we tie them all together, so we've got like a chain of beards tied together.
We have
And
to
then
wrap
we'll dance
ourselves
around-
Steven.
We'll dance around Steven that way.
In a ring, in a circle. Nice.
All right, that's a wrap.
Start growing your beards now.
Oh, I've
Oh,
already
go
got
there.
one.
All right,
Someone-
guys.
No
Someone
problem.
said you have to walk around as Thor's hammer. Just the hammer.
Yeah,
Dude,
you're
I'll
just
do
the-
it. Hello,
Cam's
I
got
have
the
one.
beaver.
No, yeah, just the
Beaver.
hammer. No, you have to dress as the hammer. Like, just
I will,
Yes.
dude. I will do it. God damn it.
I swear, Cam's beard was growing in PAX. Like every time I saw him, his beard changed every time.
yeah.
I at least saw him like 50 times.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming on, and I hope everyone has a good night.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, thanks for
thank
having
you,
us.
viewers,
Thank
for
you,
coming
thank you.
around.
What's goodbye
Uh,
in Japanese?
I don't know. I
wait,
just
no,
know
It's
you-
goodbye because this is
Sayonara.
America.
Fuck yeah.
Oh God.
This is
Hey,
America.
and
English.
remember, as usual, lift with your back and twist while doing it. That is your health tip for today.
Goodbye in Japanese.
Drink milk.
Oh, it is
Drink
sayonara.
milk.
It is okay. Crumb and the fucking shit.
Goodbye, everybody. See you next week.
You mean sayonara?